A Green Lantern has an important role in James Gunn's Superman, and not the one most people probably expected. If you're unfamiliar with the trash-talking, ego-driven, bowl-cut sporting hero Guy Gardner, this is everything you need to know about him before you go to see the movie.
You didn't think I was above fighting dirty, did ya?
Guy Gardner's story technically started eons ago when an alien race from the planet Maltis attained immortality. After one of their own accidentally created the multiverse and unleashed evil, they decided to declare themselves the guardians of the universe and bring order to as many planets as possible. After their first attempt to do so with robots went horribly wrong, they decided that only living beings who are free of fear can be trusted with such responsibility and created the Green Lantern Corps. The Guardians forged the Power Rings, devices capable of materializing all kinds of constructs, as long as they're green, of course. They entrusted the rings to those they believed to be free of fear and gave them sectors to defend, which they did for billions of years. One fateful day, Green Lantern Abin Sur is attacked while traveling through his assigned sector and crash lands his ship on Earth. Aware of his own imminent death, he uses his Green Lantern battery to locate any Earthlings who might be courageous enough to take on the mantle, and he thankfully finds two. One is an instructor named Guy Gardner, and the other is a test pilot named Hal Jordan. With no time to waste, Abin Sur requests whichever one he's physically closest to be brought to him, and that happens to be Hal. As Hal takes a Green Lantern oath and gains powers he never could have imagined, Guy has no idea that he was almost chosen to be a space cop for now. So who is this Gardner guy anyway? Long before he was nearly picked to be a superhero, Guy had a painful childhood thanks to the actions of his abusive father. After spending his teenage years committing crimes and being a general delinquent, he cleaned up his act and became a college football player. Once he graduated, Guy used his physical prowess for good by counseling prison inmates before becoming a gym teacher, which was his profession until he got wrapped up in cosmic intrigue. After learning that another man almost became Green Lantern, Hal Jordan decides to track Guy down and make his acquaintance, but he doesn't tell his new friend about anything Lantern related. Guy effectively becomes Hal's understudy, but a man named John Stewart takes the position after Guy gets hit by a bus. When Guy puts on the Green Lantern suit for the first time and tries to take the oath, he immediately ends up vanishing due to a power battery malfunction. The next time he sees Hal, he's become a puppet of the villainous Sinestro, and although Hal manages to rescue him, Guy ends up with serious brain damage. For a while, Guy remains comatose as Hal and John continue their Green Lantern duties. Thankfully, Guy doesn't stay catatonic forever, as he comes to during the crisis on Infinite Earths. That said, he's not the same Guy that he used to be. Instead of being a generic do-gooder, Guy is now much more impulsive, stubborn, and hostile to authority. While the old Guy was just happy to be included, the new Guy is more intoxicated by the power the ring gives him. This change was made in order to make Guy stand out more from the other Green Lanterns, and his macho man persona is the one that he's most well known for today.
You kinda wanna kiss the ring now, don't you? A little bit. Kinda wanna kiss the ring? Come on, somebody kiss it! Kiss it!
The world that Guy awakens to is a much different place. Hal is retired, John has replaced him, and the multiverse is undergoing a crisis like never before. After getting his bearings, Guy is recruited to stop the Anti-Monitor, finally becoming a Green Lantern for longer than a single issue. Naturally, Guy almost causes the apocalypse. He's told to destroy the moon of the planet Quad, which he doesn't realize would actually make the Anti-Monitor more powerful. He's stopped by John and the day is saved, but Guy isn't happy to be made to look like a fool. He isn't kicked out of the Corps yet, but he still has a bone to pick with his fellow space cops. After all, he doesn't see himself as one of many Green Lanterns. He sees himself as the Green Lantern. Even though Guy isn't the best team player, he's still willing to cooperate with other heroes, to a point. After a group of heroes thwart an attack orchestrated by Darkseid, Dr. Fate assembles a new Justice League that becomes known as Justice League International. When asked to join, Guy says he'll think on it, and once he does, he agrees to become a member of JLI's original lineup. That said, Guy's conflicts with his fellow JLI members are much more memorable than his fights with actual villains. From the very first page of Justice League International, he sees himself as a natural leader of the group, and he gets heated whenever someone suggests otherwise. In one infamous moment, Guy challenges Batman to a fistfight, only to get knocked out by a single blow to the face. In another, he sucker punches Blue Beetle after challenging him to a boxing match. Guy isn't interested in sharing the spotlight, and he finally quits the team after Superman tells him off. Judging by his uniform in the trailer for 2025 Superman, the version of Guy depicted in the film is inspired by the character's JLI era in particular. That means it's It's only a matter of time before David Corenswet's Superman lets the brash Green Lantern have a piece of his mind.
Guy is, I think, can be fairly said, he's consistently an asshole.
Upon hearing that Guy isn't doing the greatest job defending Sector 2814, Hal returns to Earth to try and take back his position. Guy responds by challenging Hal to a fight, one-on-one, no rings. Loser has to quit the Corps. Even though Guy seems to have the upper hand for most of the brawl, Hal tires out his rival and manages to declare victory. Guy begrudgingly hands over his ring, officially leaving the Corps and becomes a free agent. Not content with being a normal human, Guy decides to try and acquire a yellow power ring instead. Sure enough, he gets a hold of Sinestro's ring and uses it to clean up crime in New York City for a while. He even takes on the vigilante name Warrior. Guy wields a yellow power ring until it breaks during a fight with Hal, who'd turned evil after being possessed by the entity known as Parallax. After that, he finds out that he has alien DNA after his latent powers are activated. It's a weird time for Guy, but it's not long before everything pretty much goes back to normal. After briefly being possessed by Parallax himself, Guy loses his Velderian DNA and regains his green power ring after Hal's mysteriously duplicates. The Green Lanterns work together to stop Parallax and return the Corps to its former glory. As the Green Lantern Corps works to expand its ranks, Guy becomes an instructor once again as he teaches new recruits how to fight without fear. He's promoted to Honor Guard, becoming one of the most crucial members of the whole operation. As a respected space cop, Guy gets up to all sorts of adventures with fellow Green Lanterns and other heroes. He's a jerk with a heart of gold, until he's filled with so much rage in the Blackest Night storyline that he goes red instead. Guy is inducted into the Red Lantern Corps, and he finds himself using a red power ring alongside his green one with devastating results. The year after the Blackest Night event ended, DC's New 52 initiative rebooted the comic universe, starting it over while changing certain details about long-established heroes. In New 52, Guy is a policeman's son who followed in his father's footsteps before taking his law enforcement abilities to space. But he's not the only other version of Guy out there. Not only is Guy a fan-favorite Green Lantern in the comics, but he's also had plenty of appearances in DC animated shows. His TV debut was in Batman the Brave and the Bold, in which the Guardians pair him with the Dark Knight in case he becomes a bit too much of a loose cannon. This take on Guy, played by James Arnold Taylor, was a welcome presence for fans of the character. It was soon followed by Young Justice, in which Troy Baker voiced the hot-headed hero. Finally, the Green Lanterns got a show all to themselves with Green Lantern the Animated Series. The program, which focuses on Lanterns, Hal Jordan, and Kilowog, featured Diedrich Bader as Guy in a supporting role, being just as arrogant as always.
I am the only Green Lantern of...
Green Lantern of Hey, better get back there.
Guy has also been depicted in animated films and video games, but he's been less fortunate in the live-action department. An early script for the poorly received 2011 Green Lantern movie included a cameo appearance of Guy in his college football years, but it didn't make it to the final version. For decades, the only official live-action appearance of Guy Gardner was in the unsuccessful TV pilot Justice League of America. Released in 1997 and starring Matthew Settle as the Green Lantern, it depicts Guy as a software salesman, much more similar to Hal in appearance and temperament. Fans have waited a long time for a live-action, comic-accurate version of the character, and they're finally getting their wish in 2025. Guy Gardner makes a proper live-action debut in James Gunn's Superman, bowl cut and all. Anyone familiar with Gunn's work will recognize Nathan Fillion as a Green Lantern, as the pair have collaborated on a consistent basis since the 2006 film Slither. Fillion had small roles in 2 out of the 3 Guardians of the Galaxy movies, but his Superman role is a serious step up. That said, it technically isn't Fillion's first time playing a superhero, or a Green Lantern for that matter. He voiced Hal Jordan in 5 different DC animated films from 2011 to 2019, including Green Lantern Emerald Knight and The Death of Superman. Even though he's playing a more respectable Lantern, his performances in these movies definitely have a bit of Guy in them.
Give up? Please say no.
You'll never catch me, Lantern.
Lots of women say that.
Now Fillion has a chance to truly let loose, and Superman isn't his only opportunity. Guy Gardner serves as a link between the first film in the DCU and its shows Peacemaker and Lanterns. The Peacemaker Season 2 trailer shows Guy interviewing potential heroes alongside Hawkgirl and Maxwell Lord, the latter of whom bankrolled Justice League International in the comics. Lanterns, meanwhile, promises a more in-depth look at the Green Lantern Corps, with Kyle Chandler as Hal and Aaron Pierre as John, so naturally Guy is slated to show up as well. There's no telling how many more places he'll show up in. It's a good time to be a DC fan, but it's an even better time to be a Guy Gardner fan.